recording.
Hello, Rhonda. I am doing great, Rhonda. It is good to have you on. Okay. Morning, Nate. All right, guys, we're going to give it a couple of minutes here.
What's going on, Sean?
Good. Who's doing great? Happy Monday, buddy.
Happy Monday to you. I'm just driving home. So, are you traveling today or are you home?
I'm home, but I'm going to be working kind of a half day because we're going to be moving into our new house. We've got 2 days before we go down to Mexico, so we're kind of on a pinch with time with a few things, but that's okay.
Right on. Well, congrats again.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, the funding is just going through today, so we haven't been able to get the keys yet. So we had to sit around this weekend and just get organized, and now it's just going to be all hands on deck, you know.
Hey, sometimes that's good. Get everything. It makes it easier for the move in.
No. Then I was going to let you guys know, and I'll let other people know when they join. Daniel and I met this morning. This will be our only group call this week, just because then we're traveling on Wednesday. So we're going to miss the language of sales. And then we're going to be down in Mexico with the team and with the time change and with events and stuff we're doing down there. We're just going to delay everything till next Wednesday. We get back on Monday. And that will make it easier so that we just don't have any disruption in the schedule.
Yep, that works. And I may jump off just a little early. I have a call
no problem.
at right around 9:30.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to let you know, I shot on Saturday a quick just note to Renee because I was just getting some work done on Saturday. And I just said, hey, just give us said greetings from San Diego. Just let us know if you start using any of the products next week. We'd love to hear the feedback. I have not heard back from her. It was just a text message. So I just circle around her maybe midweek and just see if she is starting the products. And let's just keep it, let's just keep engaged with her. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Not no pressure, but engaged.
Yeah, I gave her a little jab yesterday during the Bills game, and she had something about the Cowboys up. So I just threw a "Go Bills" up, and she sent a laugh back. So I'm definitely, keeping engaged. Yeah.
No, that's perfect. I'm excited to hear what she thinks about the skincare and everything too. So that's gonna be cool.
And I did drop off that Sandy, the line that Sandy gave me when we all met. I gave it to a friend of the family's who's into skincare.
Awesome.
And so it's not the big one that I was hoping because she has a contract with another company. So in her office, but this is one that's just starting out. And so I think that it was a good move.
Fantastic. Crystal Catalina, good morning. Crystal, the next time that I see you, we will be down in Mexico. How exciting is that? It's going to be awesome. All right, guys, let's get started with an incredible call today. Guys, what we're going to be working on here is we're going to get a little bit more dialed into necessary endings. So on necessary endings, we've been working through how when stuck is the new normal. Today, we're going to work on how to get laser focused on actually executing change. And then we are going to not have a call on Monday because we'll be traveling back from Mexico. But then the following Monday, we're going to wrap up on, I think it's Halloween Day, on how to not just execute the change, how to keep change as your normal and be used to it. So it's going to be very impactful. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the book and some of the lessons. And today we're going to do a really important breathing and grounding and centering. If you were not on last week's call, we're going to kind of mirror what we did last week. We're going to do some reflection, and the reflection will lead us into the rest of the call. So if you have an opportunity to get your feet firmly planted on the ground, feel that connection with the earth, then what we're going to do is we're just going to sit feeling very grounded in whatever posture that we are, feeling comfortable. And we are just going to go ahead and we are going to take a deep breath in, breathing in some good, clean, just clear air in through the nose. And then we're just going to breathe out any stress, anxiety, clutter in our mind. We're going to take another deep breath in through the nose. Remember, we're activating our central nervous system and we're cleaning that whiteboard of clutter off on a Monday morning. We're going to have a little self-love. When you breathe out, I want you to exhale out all of that stress or clutter, creating a space that's just open for new ideas and the best version of yourself. Continue to take a deep breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, really blow everything out. Clearing your mind and honoring yourself this morning on this beautiful Monday morning. And now as you look at that whiteboard and as we're clearing that whiteboard, I want you now to imagine that the whiteboard is like a large mirror. In the reflection, it's a large closet mirror where there's plenty of space for you to see a lot of things. And as you breathe deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, I want you to just have a nice vision of yourself in the mirror. And as you look at yourself, I want you to get very detailed on what's the picture of the perfect version of yourself or the best version of yourself. Specifically, what does it look like? Maybe you're just coming in from the gym. Maybe you just got back from meditation or a long walk with your dog. And I want you to start thinking about, what does your face look like? Are you smiling? Are you content? Is your skin healthy? What are you wearing? Continue to focus on that best version of yourself. And I want you to think of the activities that it takes to get to this version of yourself. The diet, the schedule, the habits that you have in play. And as you really look into that perfect version of yourself, what are the things that you've been doing or you're going to keep doing to keep that perfect, best version of yourself? Now I want you to think a little bit wider. You establish what you are looking like and what you're wearing and what your habits are. Who else is there with you? When you're at your very best, who are the people that bring out the very best in you? What situations are you in? Who are the people that when you're feeling the best version of yourself, you're on top of it, that are with you in that mirror? And what are they doing? What are the likenesses of them? Do they have the same goals, the same attitude, the same work ethic? What are their feelings about the future? How do they handle challenge? Why are these people with the best version of yourself? And take a breath or two and thank them for being there. And as you do that, I want you to think about who is not in that picture, who is not in your perfect mirror. And it's important to realize, why are they not there? Is there a challenging relationship that you have with somebody that it's frustrating to communicate with? Do you have somebody that has limiting beliefs and pulls you down whenever you start to get on a high and get moving? Do you have that friend that's just the negative? This won't work. Watch yourself. That's not a good idea. Oh, if you were me, I wouldn't do that. And really focus in on who is not there and why. To be the best version of yourself, who are the people that we do not need in our life? Maybe it's those friends that still haven't grown up yet, still don't have a plan, still don't go get after their day. And maybe there's time to see them, but maybe they're not important to be there all the time. Nothing's wrong with that. Maybe it's a relationship of somebody that's not there that is worth working on too. And maybe they still should be included. And that's going to be one of our necessary endings, of ending the silence between an important relationship or improving it. As you take a few more breaths, just focus back in on not just you, but the people that are with you in your mirror. And really take a good snapshot of what that looks like and how you feel and how you look and what you're doing. Let's do 3 breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And let's just nourish that image. And let's keep it in mind this week. In fact, let's keep it in mind for the long run of what we really want our life to be like, our personal and professional life. What are we going to look like, and who are we going to do it with? As you come back into the meeting, we're going to be focused on necessary endings, and we're going to promise ourselves to be open, honest, and execute on the things that we need to do today. All right, guys, let's get back into the call. And folks, today, Big Mike, there he is, looking good. So guys, we're going to be working today. We've been working through necessary endings, and specifically last week, what we talked about is when stuck is the new normal. When we spend our life saying, hey, you know what, this isn't really working for me, and you know what, maybe it will get better. Hey, this relationship isn't working well. This habit isn't working well, but you know what, it'll get better maybe in the future, even though I've been saying that for 10 years. You know, and then when we have those decisions that we want to make, and then we're like, that's just too far off, too big of a decision. You know what? Let's just everyone just slow down. We're not going to start getting ahead of ourselves, and we're not going to make that decision. Today, what I want us to really focus on, and we all agreed that we were going to be open and talking about the things that we really need to change. Today, we're going to start making that list. And what we really want to do is we're going to make a list of things that need to change in our lives for us to have that perfect rose bush. Remember, the idea of necessary endings is pruning things out of our life that aren't doing anything to help the rose bush be more beautiful. Roses are beautiful to work with. They're not easy to work with, and they take a lot of work to make them really look beautiful. So this is what I want you to think about right now. There's a rule when making changes. And see, the thing between really successful people and people that aren't really successful, one of the most important things that is a differentiator is successful people that really have goals that they're going after. They're not afraid to make changes. They'll change on a dime at any time. You know, if something's not working, we're going to do something else. The people that just keep on going down the same path saying, oh, maybe next week will be better. Now, maybe next month will be better. Maybe next year will be better. They get in those ruts. So this is what we're going to do is I want you to think about professionally and personally. And if you have something to write on, think about some things. Professionally, you got to own yourself. And there's always things that we can improve. Man, my list of things that I need to work on, it grows daily, you know, or I pick up on something that, hey, that's not benefiting me. You know, there's certain things, especially around food and other things that I like to do that doesn't always benefit me in the best way. And always the next day, I'm like, why did I do that, man? I'm just struggling a little bit more. Professionally, let's talk about the habits that we have, the organizational structure. Are we lead generating? Do we have a plan of how many times we're going to send our link out? Are we measuring how we're going out and getting retail customers? Are we getting into conversations with those people that we know are influential in our world? And if not, why are we not doing that? So what I want you to do is I want you just to list down the key things in making a change in your life. The number one most important thing, and this is why it's so wonderful to be a human being on this planet, is we have the ability to decide what needs to change. We know it. It's there. It's like a billboard every single day hitting us. Oh man, I got to do something about that. I don't have enough money saved up for that because I haven't been paying attention to putting money away. Man, I know I need to start saving some money. Hey, I want to make this move, but I just haven't got myself prepared. I need to get all that paperwork. I need to get that education done. I need to get that information together, and I just haven't done it. We know what needs to change. So I want you to realize the number one thing in making an impactful change in your life is decide that it's what needs to change and the timing of it. Hey, look, if it's something like, if it's one of those deals that you want to just like slowly maybe lose a little bit weight, you could chisel away at things. This could be super easy. If you're in a toxic relationship that's being that is really draining you, and you've been dragging along for a while, and you might need to make that change quickly, it might be something that we need to get really focused on and actually get into action on. It's always about the importance of the change that's going to bring when we're going to get started on it. But you have to decide on what needs to change. So if you really want to build a bigger business with XND, then what would you need to do that? Have you scheduled a 411 with me? Have you really taken a look at your database? Have you been making calls to people and grooming and nurturing the people that are currently with you or under you? And are you maximizing everything with them? And then are you out there looking for other people that are doing the business better than you or are connected with in other ways that you're not? And have you been reaching out to them? Have you been making meaningful conversations, setting appointments? You got to decide what needs to change. That's number one. Okay. Number two, and this is probably the most important one. And believe me, I struggled with this for a long time. I was brought up in a very middle-class family, a very hardworking father. Mother was a school teacher, and my parents did not like change. They did not like discomfort. They were on a routine. Literally, like if we were going to go on a camping trip, 2 weeks before we went on the camping trip, my dad had all the stuff out in the living room, totally organized, sectioned out, lists, everything. You know, hey, if we're going to go out, and I love this about him, you know, he was just so organized, man. When that dude would do a recipe, he had everything completely organized. If something disrupted that, he didn't deal with that really well. He wasn't good at that. You have to, number two, you must learn to embrace discomfort. You must learn to love it. You got to learn to do it. And in the book, they talk about some little tricks of doing that. And literally, we could train ourselves to get used to more discomfort. Some people do the same routine every single day. They go to the same restaurant, they order the same thing, they take the same walk with the dog, they do the exact same thing every single day. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yet, that makes it harder when somebody comes up and says, hey, Crystal, I've got this unbelievable opportunity, but you're not going to believe it. It's this new thing called space yoga. And it's unbelievable. And you're like, what? No way. I'm not doing that. And you might realize that might have just been the name, yet it's this huge population of people that get together and do yoga. And that could be your biggest customer yet. You need to embrace change and say, hey, let's go check it out. Don't know what it is, but I'm up. Space yoga it is. Let's go. You need to learn how to start, and they give you tips on how to do that. Mix your life up a little bit. Start getting up a little bit earlier. You know, go to bed a little bit earlier. Discomfort. I love this. Build discomfort into your routine. Start listening to different playlists. Start watching different shows. Try different things. Try different exercise. Hang out with different people. And you can learn to embrace discomfort. One of the biggest things, especially with entrepreneurs, that they always, you know, if you start watching videos or if you start looking into really successful, I was watching a thing with Mark Cuban, you've got to learn to be uncomfortable. Mark Cuban, literally, when he bought the Dallas Mavericks, he was the first one to show up at the building. And you know what he did is he walked around and picked up trash and made sure that everything was spotless before even the people that got there to clean the place. He wanted to make sure that he was there doing those uncomfortable things. He wanted to make sure that he understood where all the trash cans were and if they needed more. He wanted to understand the business at a level that most people wouldn't be comfortable doing. But he wanted to understand everything. He's not afraid to get uncomfortable and do things outside of his role. So you want to make sure that you embrace discomfort. Number 3, important thing in making a change, identify why it needs to happen. Identify why it needs to happen. Guys, this is all building that future self. Hey, this needs to change because I keep on bumping into this problem every single day in my life, every single week, every single year. I'm at the same place. Every time I do my taxes, I'm at the same situation. Yeah, I'm not saving up enough money to pay my taxes. I'm not, you know, this is just, I'm sick of this. You need to identify why it needs to change. If you literally have people in your inner circle that are driving you crazy, that are bringing you down, I have them, and I got to be so sometimes protective. Like when I call people back, I'm like, okay, stay positive for this call because this person's going to find every single reason to bring you down. Doesn't mean that you got to get rid of them, but that you need to understand why that needs to change. You don't need that in your life. And then that's going to even spur you on to say, hey, Frank, I love talking to you, man. But you bring me down all the time. Is there anything in your world that's positive right now? And why isn't it? And why does that have to come on to me? Do I have to deal with that? Let's reshape this relationship and let's get some positivity going. Let's support each other at a higher level, because I don't like those calls, and I'm not going to be making the calls if we don't change the way this is going. Hey guys, if it's time for you to make a change in your business, maybe you're seeing your income, you want it to change. Maybe you're seeing the people that you've been going out to, or population of people that you've been going out to, or gyms that you haven't been really bearing a lot of fruit. And you're there working your tail off. Maybe they're not the right gym. Maybe you need to find people that are more growth driven, or more open to having you support them, or more open to actually pushing the product, whatever that is. You need to identify why you need to have a change. Then the next tip on how to make a meaningful change, truly define what needs to take place. Not just, oh man, it would be great if I saved a little bit more money. Oh man, it'd be great if I started to lead generate a little bit, and because I'm not lead generating. You've got to clearly define. For me to think that this is successful, at the end of 2023, I want $10,000 in a savings account. You know what? I'm going to call my tax guy. I actually did this a couple of weeks ago. We went through a preliminary tax run. We went through and did our taxes, kind of like a soft taxes. So we had an estimate of what we need so that we could put that away before the end of the year, so we don't have to worry about it. That's a huge relief. Like when you do that, like you're literally like, I know now what the number should be about. So let's just pad it a little bit, but let's have that money put away. So what specifically needs to change? If you're not organizing and lead generating and time blocking, maybe now for that to be successful, you're going to build a weekly calendar and a daily calendar, and you're going to stick to it for 3 months. And if you could stick to it for 3 months, we know that habits usually take about 66 days. And some people say 33, whatever. Hey, they take consistency. You're going to be able to stick with that for the long run. Be specific. If you've got toxic people in your life and you want to make a change, what does that look like? Is it something that you need to make a clear break, or do you just turn them off? Whatever that one is, it needs to happen. Okay. The next one, this is actually number 5. Identify what's been holding you back from making the change. So many times we do not make the change because, you know what? We're codependent on a relationship. We have a habit that keeps us from making positive change. Sometimes we hang out with people that really keep us from making a change. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something. If you really start paying attention to the conversations around you, you're going to find out that you have a couple of different people that are in your life. There's a few different type of people that you have. There's wise people, and those are the people that you love hanging out with. They push you to be better. Their habits are better than yours or equal to yours. They're the ones that say, hey, Mike, Sunday morning, dude, get out of the rack. Let's go. Put on the sneaks. We're going to go get some sweat on. You know, but no, we're not just going to go watch football. We're going to go get a little sweat on. And you know what? We're not going to the pizza place. Let's go grab a salad and we're going to watch the games, you know, and we're not going to have 30 Miller Lights. We'll have 3. Okay. Does that sound good? Let's do that. Okay. So you're going to have the wise people. You're going to have foolish people in your life. And this is from the book. I'm not making this stuff up. This is foolish people. Hey, these are the people that we love them to death. But we have a lot of foolish people. And this is what a foolish person sounds like. Hey, Crystal, don't worry about it. Just, you know what? Forget about that. Let's just take the day off. It's all good. There's no reason to push yourself. You know what? You've been working hard enough. No big deal. Just forget about that. You know what? I didn't do anything last week. I didn't do any lead generation. You're fine. You're doing better than me. Don't push yourself. The foolish people are the ones that keep on bringing us down to their level so they feel better about themselves. And that's a true thing that happens. Those people are like, oh, don't worry about it. Yeah, no, I'm you know what? I got to do that, but I didn't do it. So you're going to have wise people. You're going to have foolish people. And we love them. We love them, but they drive us a little crazy and they bring us right down to their level. In fact, for them to be really happy, they just want to be a little bit better than us or equal to us. And that's happy. And you have a lot of relationships where you've got people that want you to stay in that world. And the conversation is, don't worry about it. I'm in the same situation. Nothing's going to change. Let's just have some fun. Let's just blow that off for another day. And then the third person that you're going to have, you will have evil people in your life. And that's just the way that life is. You're going to run into people that take advantage of you. You're going to run into people who sabotage you. You're going to run into people that are the wolf in sheep's clothing. You're going to ask them to do things and they're not going to do them. In fact, they're going to kind of anti-do them. They're going to talk behind your back and sabotage things. And you just got to look out for all these. There's nothing wrong with them. We don't need to call them out and all that. We just got to be able to identify them and say, hey, look, I got a wise person that I want to lean into. Usually, I find the wise people are doing some pretty good activities with you, work-wise or personally. These are the people you see at the gym. These are the people that you see, like, you know, doing masterminds. They jump into the calls. You pick up the phone. Hey, what's working for you? What's one thing that you're doing that I should be doing? And they share openly. You're going to have the foolish people that just kind of want you to stay mediocre, and that's their happy space. And then you're going to have some evil people that you need to get away from, period. And that just is the way that life is. And that's the person that tells you that they're going to do something for you and they don't do it. You know, I'll come through for you and it just doesn't get done. And they're going to blame everybody else. And then they're going to pull you down. So then what the next thing that we have to get focused on is when we decide we need to measure change, we're going to embrace the discomfort. We identify why we want the change. We truly define what's going to happen when we feel like we've succeeded with the change. We've identified people that are holding us back or things that are holding us back. Now it's time for us to get other people on board with our change. And here's the neat thing in the book they even talk about. This could even be in a challenging conflict. Let's say that Crystal and I have been great friends for a long time and I'm just bringing her down all the time, or I'm sabotaging her in a lot of different ways. Literally, she could have a conversation where there's a positive ending to that. Hey, Sean, I know that this is going to come out of left field. And you know what? Every time I talk to you, Sean, you bring me down. You really I've told you all the things that I want to do and how excited I am. And all you do is give me negativity and tell me and start bringing me back down. This is what I would like for the relationship to look like. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, that's okay. But I want you to know what I want it to look like. And you let me know what you want it to look like. Wouldn't it be great if we were thriving? We were both thriving. I would love for you actually to come join me at the gym a little bit. And that would be awesome. And you don't have to, but at least don't bother me. Don't get negative when I go to the gym. Does that work? Would that work for you? You'll find even bad relationships when you tell somebody, hey, the goal of this is to have a better relationship, or the goal is this for you to be really happy. There's a great way to have a positive ending, even in a negative situation. But the thing is, we won't even have the conversation. So you got to start getting people on board with you. Hey, find like-minded people that are rah-rah and are ready to make some changes. You know, you find that when you do like the XND 63, people that are ready to make a move, though, that like they're gonna commit to it. I see him on Steve Major's calls. I go to his calls, and he's got these group of people. They're all like-minded. They're rooting each other on, and they're giving each other tips, and they're fired up. And the final thing to making a positive change in your life, and then this is something that is just so important. Really visualize what the finish line is going to look like. Really visualize yourself with that change in place. Hey, what would it look like if I had all of my tax money saved up before the end of the year and didn't scramble in spring to have to do that? And I'm just speaking to myself. That's like literally what we literally have not done that in the past, and we did that this year. You know, we were doing a lot of things, and was it fun? No. But did it feel good after? Yes. And it's the same thing with going to the gym, eating, and all of those things. So guys, these are a couple of the tips. When you're reading this book, this is the second time I've read this book, and I think it's more impactful for me now because it's about really making serious change in your life. Endings need to be a part of our life, and we're going to talk about that. We're not going to have a call next Monday because of Mexico, because I'll be traveling. But the following on Halloween, we're going to talk about how to keep the momentum behind constantly making changes. The more comfortable we are with making changes, the more comfortable we are with stretching ourselves and getting into that great space. Do an audit of the people that are around you too, and that you go to for advice, and make sure that they're the best person to go to for advice. I've got incredible friends. I only have a small circle of friends, if that makes sense. Like I have a lot of people I hang out with, but there's only 2 or 3 that I really get advice from, you know, because the other ones I know exactly what I'm going to get. I'm going to get their negativity, their narrow-mindedness, their limiting beliefs. Do an audit of your friends. It doesn't mean you have to start calling people and saying, hey, you want go to hell, I'm never going to talk to you again. It just means you're going to distance them, and you're going to be very selective. Hey, going to a Padre game? Everyone's fired up on Padres, and everyone's trying to get all these parties together to go watch. Some guys I liked hanging out with. Other ones I'm like, nah, I could pass. I don't need to do that because I just get so negative around. They get me, they're too negative. Be selective, and then really go after, when we were doing the breathing, that person in the picture that is the best version of yourself. Start chipping away at that. Remember, when Michelangelo created the statue of David, he didn't go out to create the statue of David out of this big piece of marble. All he did was take all the pieces of marble off that weren't David, necessary endings, and then he was left with David. Get the pieces that aren't the perfect version of yourself out of your life and put a plan together on how to do that, okay? All right, Crystal, Catalina, I will see you down with a margarita in 2 days, okay? All right, I'm jumping on our team stand-up. Mike, I'll be reaching out a little bit later. I got a hectic day today, but we'll connect, okay?
Sounds
All
good.
right, guys. Talk to you later.